Hi, my name's John McKegg. I'm a licensed real estate representative with Royal LePage RCR in Alliston. Doing a series of short videos. I'm on my way out to meet clients. I thought I would do a quick video. When people are thinking about making improvements to their house, one of the things that they should always consider is finishing basement. A lot of people, when they go to make changes to their house, they put their money into the wrong places. And where they can make a lot of money on the resale of their house is in finishing a basement. It gives extra room. If it's done properly, it will certainly add value. When first starting to renovate your basement, first thing to do is obviously to plan. So one thing that you want to strongly consider is what your budget is. It's important in a basement to put in quality finishes. However, you don't want to go overboard. You want to make sure that the finishes in the basement match the finishes in the rest of the house as well. You want there to be a flow from one level to the next. But in order to start, after you've planned on your budget and you've decided what it is that's most important, so having a 3-piece or a 4-piece bathroom in the lower level, having 1 or 2 extra bedrooms, having some extra storage, having a large living space for entertaining, things like that. What you want to do is you want to start with an area that is problem-free. So you want to make sure that the basement's been taken care of. If there's any musty smells, you want to find out where those musty smells are coming from. You want to repair those areas. You want to make sure that any cracks or anything like that in the floor, that if you can, you properly seal those up. Spider cracks are pretty common in basements, but before you actually put down a flooring, it's nice to be able to go through and just seal those spider cracks up. There's going to be more up here, but if you can seal the ones up that you see, that's great. You just want to make sure that they are just from shrinkage from the spider cracks and not from heaving. If there's heaving, then you've got a bigger issue and you need to address that. Placement of utilities. So in some instances, older houses or new houses, that the builder, when they put in the utility, sometimes they put the utility in areas that will provide the best efficiency for the house, but it's not necessarily the most convenient from an aspect of, even if you could move the utilities over a foot or two, just to give you that extra space to finish for living spaces. That's a great idea. Another thing you want to do is you want to make sure that the ceiling joists, the ones from the main floor, you want to make sure that those are all taken care of as far as adding reinforcements. You want to make sure that the reinforcements that were there are there, or if they haven't, or if they're no longer there, you have them replaced. You may even want to add a little bit of extra, and you may also want to add some sound insulation between floors. I know that sound travels, especially from a main floor. That's the heaviest used floor, so you want to make sure that the you can eliminate as much sound as possible from that main floor. Next thing you want to do is you want to make sure you damp proof. So you want to make sure that you use the proper damp proofing material. The exterior walls, especially if you're below grade, and in most cases you are going to be below grade. The other thing that's very important is the ceiling height. So you want to make sure that when you put the ceiling in, that you have enough, obviously enough clearance for people to walk around in the basement. A nice ceiling height in a basement, if you're able to do it, is 8 feet. I've seen in some instances where it's considerably less than that, and it doesn't make for a very appealing space to spend time in. You want to make sure that utilities are tucked up nice and tight underneath the floor, but you want to make sure that they meet code as well. Putting in quality lighting, you want to make sure that if possible, I know that everybody's on a budget, but if you can, you have recessed lighting. That will certainly add ceiling height. You want to make sure that you put in quality flooring. So you want to make sure that the flooring that you do put in is easy to maintain, but most importantly that it's moisture resistant and durable. If there ever is a flood, hopefully there isn't, but if there ever is a flood, you want to make sure that flooring is easily repairable. I've seen in some instances where people will put in hardwood flooring in a basement. That's not a very good idea. I know that there is flooring available that is manufactured flooring that looks like wood. That is very appealing. That looks very nice, and it's easy to keep, relatively easy to keep. But the actual wood itself, you want to make sure that whatever wood that you do put in resists moisture. Another thing that's very appealing in houses, especially the modern houses, is to have an open stairway. I know that's not always necessarily the case, but if you can, that certainly appeals. It adds to the flow of the house, and it makes the lower level feel as part of the rest of the house as much as the upper floor is part of the house. Another thing you want to make sure is that your decor blends with the rest of the house. There's times where people will finish a basement and they haven't done any renovations on the main floor in probably 25 years, and it certainly shows. When you go from one floor to another, there just isn't that flow. So you want to make sure that the decor matches the rest of the house. One way of doing that is using neutral colors, but the other thing is that just to be very careful with the fixtures that you use. Don't use fixtures that are going to date the house quickly. I know a lot of people, the lower level of the house, they want to use it as an entertaining space, and a lot of people in the past and in the present as well, a lot of people, what they like to do is they like to put in a bar. Well, the problem with the bar is that number one, it's permanent in a lot of instances, and number two is it takes up an awful lot of space. The other thing it can do is it can date a room as well, depending on what the fixtures that are used. So you just want to be very careful. A bar usually doesn't add any value to a property. It may add a little bit of appeal, but it won't necessarily add any value. And the type of bar that's most appealing is a wet bar. The reason for that is that when you are entertaining, you've got the water source right there, as opposed to having to bring the water from upstairs down or from another room in the lower level. So if you can have a wet bar, if that's what you decide to do, that's certainly appealing. The bars that seem to be the most popular are the ones that are hidden, so maybe hidden behind a door, that the door can be opened and you have access there. So when you're not using it, you can close the door and you don't see it. So those are a few ideas as far as finishing lower level of a house. It certainly adds value if it's done properly. There are other things that you can do to a house that will certainly add value. If you want to give me a call, I can give you a list of those things. I also have other videos on here that will talk about those items, so feel free to go through those. So feel free to go through those at your convenience. My name is John McKeag. I'm a licensed real estate representative with Royal LePage RCR in Alliston. I'd very much like an opportunity to work with you. If you're thinking about buying or selling, please give me a call. I've been licensed since 2000. If you know of somebody that is thinking about buying or selling, I'd certainly appreciate you passing on their name. One of the greatest compliments that you can give me as a realtor is a referral of your friends or family. As I say, I've been licensed since 2000. I've been born and raised in Alliston, so I'm very familiar with the area. I deal with both urban and rural properties. In order to reach me, my office is at 7 Victoria Street West in Alliston. If you want to call me, my Toronto line 1-866-772-5368. Local is 705-435-3000. My email address is johnmckeag@royallepage.ca. My website is www.johnmckeagsells.ca. And my Facebook business page is the symbol at John McKeag Realtor. So thanks very much for your time. I hope you find this video useful. As I say, I've got other videos on here as well. Feel free to take a look at them as well. Thanks very much for your time, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.